On the 20th of September 2017, Nexon Europe announced that Nexon's Combat Arms service will be terminated on November the 22nd, 2017. From September the 27th, a migration process will start for players to transfer their Combat Arms accounts to VALOFE's global service, VALOFE being the company that bought the development and publishing rights to Combat Arms. Combat Arms has been in a rapid decline over the past years, especially the last 12 months. And from the very start of this year, I considered CA a dead cause. Then the Janus Beta came, and then Reloaded came, and from there I thought that was the final nail in the coffin. I was wrong. This is the final nail in the coffin. Let's go back to late 2016. This is when the player numbers dramatically dropped, even more than when Reloaded was implemented. The main reason was the blatant pay-to-win nature. The M4A1 SOT mod custom, Max's R870, Orthus, dual Scorpions, all of these broken weapons were rampant across the game and people simply fed up. Lag, FPS and ping-wise were also very big contributors, but most importantly, the most important reason of all was because people had simply given up on Nexon, myself included. So when I get invited to the user meeting in Berlin and I was shown the new user interface, the new graphics and the new matchmaking, I was extremely disappointed to go and say the least. If you guys saw what was scheduled to be released at the end of 2016, you would be saying that Reloaded was the best update of all time for Combat Arms. The new graphics were a mess. The fact that the game was simply not functional when you had the new graphics on was the tip of the iceberg. Less than 15 FPS. The light rays were blinding. It was simply an oversaturated Minecraft texture and rendering mod. It was simply that bad. You moved to the user interface. The user interface was barely functional. There were so many bugs, so many flaws. It was impossible to go and find your weapon. Impossible to go and do anything with the user interface besides go and get into a match. I could see the ideas, I could see the inspiration, and honestly, I thought this was just proof of concept and that they were going to go and completely change it up, completely rework it, and then go and produce something that was actually playable. Unknown to me, this was actually what Janus was supposed to be. Q4 2016, that was what the biggest Combat Arms update of all time was supposed to be, and in the end of it, we were all fooled. And I was just very, very relieved that it got delayed and I thought it would actually go and be reworked properly. But again, unknown to me, the amount of effort put into the patch was abysmally low and we now have Reloaded. Reloaded, definitely better than what was supposed to be released last year, but still not good enough. At the very core of the user meeting, we all agreed that nerfing the OP guns and making a game not pay to win was of the utmost priority. No one honestly gave two shits about the graphics, or the UI, or matchmaking. I had the list of important points that I got from you guys. I passed that on, I talked about them, everybody talked about really crucial issues to the game. But Nexon did not listen. I think the phrase Nexon didn't listen sums up the past 6 years very nicely. They thought what they were doing were right, but they went in the complete opposite direction. And that goes and sums up Reloaded very nicely as well. When you play Combat Arms, why do you play it? I doubt you would go and say it's because of the graphics, UI and HUD. You play because of the addictive gameplay, the amazing maps and modes, the vibrant community, the clan system, the unlimited amount of things that you can do in this game. You can play Quarantine Region, then go to Fireteam, then go to Search and Destroy, all having dedicated communities, and each mode felt like you're playing a completely different type of first-person shooter. When you go and play Combat Arms, you're not playing Call of Duty, you're not playing Counter-Strike, you're not playing Battlefield. You're playing a game that has so many different types of modes, so many different types of maps, that when you go into something different, it's like you're playing a completely different game. And that's what made Combat Arms so good, because it's a home to so many different communities. When you go and hop into Quarantine Region, and then you hop into Fireteam, you're playing with two massively different communities, but in the end of it, we're still under the massive, big home that is Combat Arms. So you could go from one to the other, and you could have a ton of fun. It's very easy to go and say that Reloaded completely went and killed that. They focused on a one-size-fits-all model. They tried to go and piggyback off Counter-Strike Global Offensive, which is a good idea in some parts, but when you try to completely copy Counter-Strike Global Offensive, you completely go and ruin the reason why people play Combat Arms in the first place. Nexon killed off Quarantine Region, Fireteam, Spy Hunt, and Search and Destroy in one patch. They wanted everybody to hop into matchmaking and play Oil Rig 24/7, which is not what Combat Arms is about. I wasn't 100% against matchmaking, but in the end of it, matchmaking for free-to-play game doesn't make really any sense. And the reason why I explain it now is because in a free-to-play game, you want people to be in the lobby, you want people to be near the shop as often as possible. The reason why, if they're near the shop, they're more than likely going to go and spend money. You don't want people in-game in a free-to-play game, because if they're in-game, they can't go and spend money. So implementing matchmaking is a decent idea, but when you do it like Black Squad has, where Black Squad, it goes and kicks you out after every match and you have to go and queue up to matchmaking again. That's because you can go to the shop, you can go to your inventory, you can go and spend real life money. Combat Arms, it never implemented that. So in the end of it, they're just shooting themselves in the foot. But back to the original point. I wasn't 100% against matchmaking, but basically forcing people to go and play is absolutely disgusting. Custom rooms, the reason why people go and play Combat Arms was basically an afterthought for Reloaded, and its implementation right now is probably the worst implementation of custom rooms I've ever seen in my free-to-play gaming days. And it goes and shows, this whole update goes and shows that the people, or more accurately, the person in charge has absolutely no idea what he's going and doing. If you haven't worked it out, the person I'm talking about is NX Coyote, the project manager for Combat Arms at Nexon Europe. I'm not talking about NX Eris, by the way, the community manager for Combat Arms at Nexon Europe. Of all the CMs I've talked to over the years, she's put by far the most amount of work into learning the game, and honestly, without her, my faith in Combat Arms would be completely lost a long time ago. She's personally reached out to me multiple times for my feedback about the game and feedback from many key members of the community, and overall, I'd say without her information gathering and without her, really useful way of gathering feedback, I think overall Combat Arms would have died many months ago, and she was the one keeping the boat afloat, in my opinion. The Reloaded you guys are seeing right now is not complete. It's not half complete, given what Coyote said would be in the biggest update of all time. There is maybe a third of the guaranteed changes. I don't have time to go into complete detail, but the UI was supposed to be revamped in terms of functionality and design. Multiple loadouts, whispering, clan wars, PCM only ranked, go for season 2, emphasis on the community, event implementation, integrated jobs, spec weapons, elite moderator, the list goes on. I was never against the idea of Reloaded. Having matchmaking would be nice. Having new graphics would be nice. Having a new UI would be nice. But these features are not nearly as important as the main issues that were plaguing CA. But these superficial features that nobody really cared about, those were the focus. And it was done so poorly that it felt like Combat Arms, instead of being revamped, had very much been scaled back to its bones. And are people wondering why the Quarantine Region fans have gone to Combat Arms Russia? It's very simple. They didn't want their core gameplay changed. And guess what was changed? The core gameplay experience. When something isn't broken, you do not go and try to fix it. It sounds very self-explanatory, but honestly, I feel like I have to go and explain it syllable by syllable in order for it to be understood by higher-ups at Nexon. So, I have all of these complaints, and you might go and ask what my solution should be. I talk a lot of shit, I talk a lot of smack. What is my idea? Well, I had my list of ideas a long time ago, and those never got implemented, so let's go for a more drastic approach that I think could actually go and save Combat Arms. The go and simply focus on nostalgia. Bring back the 2008 UI and the 2008 music. Keep the custom rooms. Completely ditch matchmaking. Bring back what people originally loved about CA. It's not rocket science to go and work out why people left CA in the first place. It was because of the pay-to-win guns, the lag, and the hackers. People didn't go and leave because they hated the gameplay. People stayed around a lot longer than they should because of the gameplay and because of the community. You fix the pay-to-win weapons, the lag, and the hackers, and a big splash of nostalgia all on top of that, in CA would be a top 5 free-to-play first-person shooter on Steam, guaranteed. I don't have a marketing degree, but I have 8 years of experience with free-to-play games. And trust me, it works, because Black Squad did exactly what I just went and said, and oh look, has a daily peak of 11,000 players. In my opinion, Combat Arms is a better game than Black Squad, but Nexon never went and capitalized on its opportunity. It never went and capitalized on what made Combat Arms great, which was the modes, the maps, the gameplay, and the community. They shunned the community, and by shunning the community simply went and left and went to the next best thing, which is Black Squad. Nothing wrong about Black Squad, but I prefer playing Combat Arms. But in the end of it, Combat Arms is a game that is so fragmented that everybody's going the Black Squad instead, simply because it is simply a better game right now. Another idea would be to go and release Combat Arms Classic, kinda like how RuneScape has old school RuneScape. Chuck Combat Arms Classic on Steam Early Access, charge $5, or don't even put it for Early Access, just make the game $5 or $10. Make it have 0 pay-to-win elements, have everything up to like 2010 plus oil rig, and people would go and flock. I know so many people that would go back to Combat Arms if it was simply the Combat Arms that they played during their childhood. But alas, Nexon can't go and do that because of the service transfer to VALOFE. Now please note, please note, this transfer was not because of Reloaded's reception. A game transfer of this scale, especially for one of the most popular free-to-play first-person shooters in Europe. I know, a bit of a meme that people say, but it is still one of the most popular free-to-play FPS games out right now. Of a game of this scale, it takes at least half a year to go and get a full transfer down, not 6 weeks. So this has been on the cards for a lot longer than you and I initially thought. To be perfectly honest, I think this was, just starting to go and get, on the cards, maybe the start of this year. Maybe around the user meeting last year. Who knows? Probably biggest meme possible is Reloaded, man, this update, if it's going to be the Lord and Savior of this game. Oh, don't worry as well, we're going to be, selling the game, and so in the end of it, we're going to put basically no support behind it, we're just going to give you the most bare bones update of all time. That's a bit of a kick in the nuts, to be perfectly honest. I've talked enough about Nexon, let's go and trash on VALOFE. VALOFE is a garbage company, and they will kill Combat Arms. Why do I say this so confidently? Well, they got Nexon NA's Atlantica Online after the guys in LA decided the game was hogging a bit too much of their server bandwidth, and VALOFE decided to go and milk Atlantica Online with borderline porn skins and 0 gameplay updates. On top of that, the account transfer took months for some people, and for many, their accounts were lost forever. The game is simply now just a shell of its, former self, and the only people that go and play are people that are so, deeply, in love with the game from many, many years back, and that they already have so much wealth built up that they can still go and have fun with the game, but if you're a new player, there's basically no way of having an enjoyable experience. I think the exact same is going to go and happen to Combat Arms. No doubt it will happen to Combat Arms. When it comes to the merge, your $2,000 worth of gear and weapons, I don't think they're 100% safe. So good luck, I suppose. If your account doesn't manage to go and get merged over to VALOFE's and it's just in this weird state of limbo and you never get to see your weapons again, I don't really want to be the one that says, I told you so, but I told you so. The company's shit, alright? The company is absolute garbage. Now, if your account actually does make it, I guarantee they're going to be selling $50 OP NX rare skins, and they're just going to go and make them with ridiculously overpowered stats. We're going to go and get laser guns, we're going to go and get bikini skins, and overall the game is going to turn into more of a meme than it already is. The one staff member they have on the CA Discord, he's a complete joke in my opinion. It's obvious he's never played combat arms or probably even a first person shooter. He's had probably a good year to even hop on combat arms, but he's asking questions like, how's the user interface in game? Or what is crash spam? Those questions are pretty easy to go and answer, so it's fairly obvious that he has absolutely no idea what he's doing. He's probably never played an FPS game before, so all in all, I wish the best of luck to anybody that plays combat arms after November, because this guy is going to be going and running the show. And when I asked him what is, his most sought after feature to be implemented into the game, casual leaderboards was his first answer. Of all the stuff that can be fixed in combat arms, he wants to go and add casual leaderboards. So good luck and bon voyage. But let me go and give credit where credit is due. The new graphics are really nice and extremely stable. Given how bad my FPS was back in January, the turnaround has been really amazing. However, this completely changes the way you play combat arms, as finding enemies is a lot more difficult. Playing on the new graphics is definitely going to give you a really big disadvantage, so overall, playing on the old graphics is definitely something you should go and do. The weapon in gear balancing, excluding Quarantine Region and Fireteam, is quite amazing in my opinion. I don't feel like I'm being cheated out of kills, and not getting one shot by mines is really nice. It would have been very easy to go and nerf weapons in Elim Pro and leave it exactly how it was for Quarantine Region and Fireteam, but alas, that is a little bit too forward thinking for Nexon, and by going putting through the explosive changes, which I believe are quite nice for PvP modes like Elimination, One Man Army, Elimination Pro, Search and Destroy, when you go and put those changes into niche modes that really go and rely on explosives, overall, you're just going to go and kill those modes completely. When you have a look at Quarantine Region, it makes the infected even more difficult to go and kill, and therefore people just can't go and have fun the way they used to. When you have a look at Fireteam, all the strategies that people, previously when it conjured up that work so well, and they've gone and refined over years and years, those simply don't work anymore because explosives do less damage. Nexon didn't go and predict the knock-on effect, but we all did, we all said, but they did not go and listen. The implementation of Australian servers was a case of too far too gone. It took way too long for the Australian servers to become stable, and by that time the whole Australian community had simply just gone and left. I found 1 or 2 custom rooms last night, and holy moly, playing combat arms on 60 ping is amazing. It's just sad it had to go and happen so late. The stuff I hate. The HUD is garbage. I analysed it here. The UI is garbage. I analysed it here. The marketing of reloading in combat arms in general is absolutely pathetic. The design of combat arms in general is depressing. The fact Nexon has given up and CA is going down the shitter is even more depressing. Now, talking about my channel for a little bit, because this is, more than likely one of my last combat arms videos. I haven't been uploading CA for the past 3 months, if you haven't noticed. My channel is doing A-okay at this point. I've been focusing more on free-to-play first-person shooters, and I've been doing a few top 10s, top 10 free-to-play first-person shooters, top 10 this, top 10 that, and if you guys want to find another game to go and replace combat arms, go and check out one of my lists, be it the Steam list, be it the FPS list, and I guarantee you'll find at least 1 or 2 or 3 games that will go and tickle your fancy and will go and replace combat arms for sure. I've been expanding out. I know there is a lot of people that, I only want combat arms, but give my channel a chance with this new type of content. I think it's infinitely better than what I did for combat arms, and overall I hopefully you guys go and enjoy it. Hopefully you guys go and stick around, and that would be absolutely amazing. And before I end, a few very quick shout outs. First one, Baxter. He's not watching this video 100%, but he was the one that motivated me to go and start making Combat Arms videos. He was the one that gave me my very first shout out, and he was the one that I credit my initial success on YouTube with. He really went and boosted my channel. And then you've also got guys like I'm Hilarious. Then you've got Arctic Dropshot, you've got Royko, you've got Caro, you've got all these really big Combat Arms players back in the day, and these were the people that really motivated me to go and make more Combat Arms videos. And now that everybody's basically gone besides Royko, it is a little bit disappointing. But to be fair, I don't blame them. I don't blame them at all. Then you have new guys like Draft Stun coming on the scene. Man, he puts out some really good stuff. I think he's going to continually be active even with all of his stuff through, you know, the transfer and whatnot. So if you guys want to go and check him out, a link will be in the description below. And of course, you guys, the people who have watched my Combat Arms videos for so long, thank you for going and sticking around. I know you're very much a minority now on my channel. Other people have kind of gone and taken over the majority here. But with that said, I love that you guys are still sticking around, still checking out my CO content whenever it goes live. But other than that, this is Undercover Dudes, all the way from down under, out.